The emergency lights flickered in the abandoned transport vessel, casting thin, panicked shadows that stretched across the bulkhead like grasping fingers. Lyra Vance stumbled through the corridor, clutching her bleeding side with one trembling hand and a plasma cutter with the other. Every breath tasted like rust and smoke. Behind her, the metallic steps of the Kaith swarm echoed, steady, certain, predatory. She had known the risks of charting the Mareline Rift alone. Every explorer did. But she hadn't expected to find an entire Kaith nest drifting dormant among the asteroids. And she definitely hadn't expected them to awaken. A pulse of heat brushed her neck. One of the drones fired a warning shot. They like playing with prey. Lyra forced herself forward, her boots slipping in the thick haze. She reached the airlock hatch, slammed her hand against the emergency seal, and felt the door clatter as it fought against the failing hydraulics. "Hurry," she whispered to herself. "Hurry!" The drones shrieked behind her. The sound drilled into her skull, high-pitched, hungry. The door finally sealed. Lyra exhaled, collapsing to her knees. But she knew the drones would breach soon. The only escape was the experimental stasis pod, the prototype she'd salvaged from the derelict earlier. It wasn't meant for long-term use, but maybe it could keep her alive long enough for a rescue beacon to be answered. If anyone still answered beacons out here. Lyra crawled to the pod, her vision blurring. She pulled herself inside, fingers slipping on the cold metal, and hit the activation switch. The lid slid shut. Blue coolant mist swirled around her body, numbing everything. As the pod began to lock, the airlock exploded. She heard the shriek of the drones coming for her. She smelled burning metal and ozone. This is it, she thought. At least it will be quick. Lyra closed her eyes, accepting the cold, swallowing the fear, preparing for the void. And then, voice. Human. Warm. You're safe now. Lyra's eyes snapped open. Warm light, not emergency red, filled her vision. The sterile scent of medical gel replaced the metallic sting of smoke. And a face hovered above her. A man, maybe late 30s, brown curls falling over his forehead, eyes wide with relief and exhaustion. "You're awake," he breathed. "Thank God." Lyra tried to move, but her body felt anchored. What happened?" she whispered. "You activated a stasis pod," the man said. "We found you adrift, frozen, on the edge of the Kepler expanse. I'm Dr. Arden Holt. You're aboard the Sanctuary Dawn." Lyra blinked. "How long was I out?" Arden hesitated. 92 years. The words hit her like pressure loss. Sudden, crushing. Everyone she had known. Everyone she had worked with. Every anchor she once had. Her throat tightened. The room blurred. Arden noticed immediately and placed a gentle hand on her arm. "You're safe now," he repeated, and for reasons she couldn't explain, the words steadied her. He helped her sit up. Her limbs tingled as if waking from frost. A soft hum filled the chamber, the sound of advanced medical systems far beyond anything she remembered. "The Kaith?" she asked. Arden shook his head. "Gone. Well, not gone, but the war ended decades ago. Humanity survived, though barely. Your survival is, honestly, a miracle." Lyra tried to process the shock spinning in her head. "Why rescue me? I was just one lost explorer." Arden's expression shifted, uncomfortable. "Because someone left a message. Locked inside your pod's console." Her pulse quickened. "A message?" He nodded, pulled a datapad from his pocket, and activated it. A hologram shimmered into existence. The face of Admiral Cashin Rourke, the one person Lyra had trusted more than anyone. He had gone missing 2 years before she entered the rift. Lyra, the message began. His voice cracked with urgency. If you're seeing this, failed. I tried to intercept the Kaith before they reached you, but they were faster. I rerouted a rescue signal to the future, to any vessel that might one day pass your coordinates. I don't know if humanity will even exist by then, but someone must find you. You don't deserve to die alone. Lyra's chest tightened painfully. I'm sorry, Lyra, Cashin whispered. I should have told you how I felt when I had the chance. If you survive this, live. For both of us. The message dissolved. Lyra pressed her palm to her mouth as her eyes burned. Arden lowered the pad, voice gentle. We didn't know who he was, but his directive was clear. Do not leave her behind. So we didn't. A long silence settled. Then Lyra forced herself to breathe. What happens now? She asked. Arden smiled faintly. Now, you heal. And once you're steady enough, you join the world again. Humanity rebuilt itself. We have colonies, exploration fleets. Even peace treaties with some old enemies. You can start over. She let the idea settle. Heavy, unfamiliar. Start over, she echoed. Arden's smile widened just a little. And if you want, he added carefully, we could use people like you. Explorers. The new frontier is far safer than the one you came from. And much more wondrous. Lyra studied his face. Kind eyes, a steadiness that calmed the storm inside her. You stayed with me, she said softly. When I woke up, he looked almost embarrassed. I didn't want you to be alone. Not after what you'd been through. Something warm flickered inside her. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Not hope exactly, but the faintest shape of it. Thank you, she whispered. Days passed. Lyra grew stronger. The ship's crew welcomed her, fascinated by her old-world knowledge. She spent hours in the observation deck, staring at the nebulae blooming like vast cosmic gardens, colors she had never seen before the stasis leap. Arden often joined her, bringing tea, sometimes sitting quietly, sometimes answering her endless questions about what the century had changed. One evening, as the ship drifted through a star-laced corridor of space, Lyra pressed her hand to the glass. I thought my story ended in that derelict, she murmured. Arden stood beside her, watching the starlight reflect against her hair. Sometimes stories end, he said, so they can begin differently. Lyra turned toward him. Arden, were you really the first to find me? He nodded. Yes. I opened the pod myself. And you said, she swallowed softly. You said I was safe. He smiled, gentle, warm, the same warmth she woke to. I meant it. Lyra felt the weight of the past and the fragile promise of the future collide inside her. She didn't know what she would choose to do next. Explore, join the fleet, rebuild a life she had lost. But she knew one thing. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel alone. She closed her eyes, not to die this time, but simply to breathe, and whispered, I think I'm finally starting to believe you. Arden's voice came back, soft as starlight. You're safe now, Lyra. And for once she truly was.